Welcome back to the Taiwan Outlook. I'm your host, Raymond Wu. In this segment, we'll continue our conversation with Ms. Zoe Hwang, who is an established musician, especially established vocalist in Taiwan. Zoe, you mentioned in the earlier segment about how the Queen Elizabeth vocal competition changed your life, your professional life. Would you mind sharing with us a little bit how that competition, and by the fact that you won the bronze medal, how did that change your options and choices in your career as a musician?
Yeah, but while I was in the States, I was in Juilliard School in New York for 6 years. It's such a long time. And the teachers were very, very good. You know, I learned so much from them, but they always told me one thing, that Zoe, you need more imagination. But I didn't know what is imagination. You know, when you were like 22 and from Taiwan and passed all the examination, the only thing I know is I have to pass the exam, I have to win the audition, I win the competition. But I don't know what is imagination. But when I went to Europe and I went to that competition, I saw these European competitors and at the end, and I saw the judges, they spoke to us, and I said, yeah, I really need imagination, which means I have to be more versatile, you know, as an artist.
More diversified.
Yeah, I can not only just know how to sing. I have to know how to be a good person, how to be a good artist, and how to integrate into the society. Because during the competition, it was a whole month, and it's like a football game. It was on TV and on radio, and I go everywhere. Everybody recognizes me, and they will say, "Oh, Zoe, you have to." I said, "My goodness, they know my name, you know."
Yes.
And of course, I was flattered but I knew very well I'm here for the competition, and I have to do this well. So I was too concerned about myself always. And after that competition, and I thought how much I learned from the broadcasting person. Because they analyze our strategy. They say, oh, this Zoe Hwang, she picked the right repertoire and how her training is from Taiwan and everything. And I started to realize we don't have that in Taiwan.
No.
We don't have that broadcasting stuff in Taiwan, and what makes this? I thought it was such a phenomenon, and it stayed in my head it stays there for a few years, no, until I came back about 15 years ago, and it was still no radio station, no classical music.
When you came back to Taiwan, that was how many years after the competition?
I came back after 4 years. I said a dark period. I said I must go home because people told me in Europe, so if you want to do culture well, you have to be in your own country. You have to. It's the best because after 4 years, people want to hear young people. They want to hear Belgian people. Why don't they know you enough?
Yeah.
It's not fresh anymore. It doesn't. I mean, of course, you will feel sad at the beginning, but then you realize this is the reality of life, you know.
And Zoe, when you came back first 15 years ago, what did you think that were the things that were lacking in Taiwan's music education and the music community? You know, what were the things that you were able to pick up internationally and also in the States and in Europe that you felt were desperately needed in our music community here in Taiwan?
Yeah, this is a great question because, a concert always in Taiwan, you can only go to concert in the National Concert Hall. That's the only place you think about it. But can you imagine Taipei has such a population with 2 million people, but concert hall only has 1,500 people
capacity.
And can you imagine after one night of concert, and it's hardly a full house because I'm not Pavarotti, you know. So I might attract 700 people. That would be very good. And the next day I'm nobody, and the music goes nowhere, and people just don't talk about it, and we don't have critics on the newspaper. So I mean, what am I to do in the society? I feel like I was nobody. So I thought this is the huge problem, but I didn't have the solution until a radio station came up. I said, oh, that's wonderful. But I still didn't realize how what a phenomenon is that for Taiwan, you know, because Taiwan really needs that. I thought of the French king, the Louis XIV, when he started his Versailles, you know. He said there's one thing very important for his people. It's called, in French, called divertissement. It means to distract your people, so they don't involve in politics.
Yes, right.
So he creates all this ballet. He started the ballet. He started opera. He started building all the great monuments in Paris. Now you go everywhere, it's by him. And he said, if people concentrate on these things, they have fun, and I can rule the country. So that's why it was a golden period for France. Yes. So and that idea transformed to, I think it's transformed to everywhere in Europe. So in Germany, in every city, their government subsidized all the musical activities, like in the opera house, they all have opera house. In Vienna, they have 3. Yes. Vienna only have 1.7 million people. They have 3 opera houses. They have 10 orchestras, and they still want more. So I don't understand. And and we spend so much money to travel there to do what? To see these things. Yes. So I say maybe Taiwan should think about that, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. For a change.
Yes. But now, 15 years later, do you think the situation has improved?
Oh yes, more or less. You just give hope, you know. And you can imagine in Vienna they spent 400 years to become like this, and Taiwan is so new. I always think Taiwan is a new country. You have to give it time. Okay. And but you have to start. If you don't start, and our time will run out, you know.
Of course. And also you're gonna, you know, not be able to retain your talent. You know, some of you, like yourself, at one time were overseas and doing international, you know, materials and not coming back to Taiwan. But let me ask you, you've been performing around the globe in many places, like, you know, in addition to Taiwan, Japan, Korea, and U.S., and in parts of Europe as well. What were some of the experiences like, you know, performing as a vocalist in some of these places compared with the experiences that you had in Taiwan?
Oh, in Europe and in the States, they have this, you know, they work like a corporation, you know. Everything is in detail, so professional, and everything is taken care, and everyone has your own responsibility. I think it somehow is to do with the climate, because Taiwan doesn't get very cold or for a long time, and people tend to have a good life. We go to outdoor, like, it's nothing wrong with that. I think God is very fair, and in Europe it's very cold, and people stay indoor, and they do something more creative. So they have to be very professional. They have to be very sufficient for everything. So to work with them it was wonderful. I remember my first opera performance was when I was in England in Edinburgh, and when I was only 22. And the director was he directed all the Shakespeare after World War II, and now he had this little girl from Taiwan. He was in such big trouble, and so he was trying to teach me how to speak to sing in British English. So he woke me up 6 o'clock every morning just to train my language.
He's done a great job.
Hey, no, he was. I feel so grateful. He's still alive. He's 92, and I always call him on his birthday, and I say, Basil, what a wonderful job you've done for me. And I realized, I think it's the language. Language is very important, and the respect for people. And I think that's the main thing.
What were some of the reactions from the audience? You know, hearing opera in English from this non-English speaker,
exotic,
yes, from Taiwan. What were some of the reactions?
Of course, they're very curious. First of all, they want to know where is Taiwan, because in the 80s, people still they had no idea. But now, of course, they know. Especially when I went to Israel 2 years ago, and they want to hear me singing, because I was singing everything about Jerusalem. Because I thought, now here I am, I'm in Israel, I must sing something about Jerusalem. And they said, can you sing something in Taiwanese? I said, sure. Okay. So I sang a lullaby, and then they were like, can I have the score? So I think people just want to know about us, know about our culture, and I think music is the best way to transmit this. It's a good medium. I think we should take profit of it, take advantage of this.
In recent years, of course, in social sciences, people have been talking about countries' soft power.
Oh, soft power, exactly.
Yes, cultural and also music being a very big part of it. And certainly what you said, music, as your own experience, will reflect, will penetrate international boundaries and barriers and really break the ice and let people know you better and you also know them better. How would you compare then, Zoe, your experiences and the reactions from the audience, in other countries as well as, reactions that you get while you're performing in Taiwan, herself?
In Taiwan, like Mozart has said, the greatest composer, he said, the hardest thing in life is to please your own people.
That's right.
Also, Jane Austen, she said, I wrote so many novels, but my family never read them. She said it's very hard to please your family. So whenever I perform in Taiwan, I think it's the most nervous. I probably stop talking for a week before the concert. Just to be perfect.
Yeah, you're performing in front of your compatriots.
Yeah.
You want to do everything right.
Yeah, and you want to show the best, and you want to tell them that you are working hard.
From what I could gather.
I think every field is the same, no?
Yeah, of course.
You have this extra pressure, but that's the fun part of life.
Exactly, meeting the challenges.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to take a short break. I will be back with Ms. Zoe Hwang, and we're going to talk to her about her other capacities, including a music program, radio program presenter on one of the leading radios in Taipei. I'll see you in 2 minutes.